those are the 5 that I would get out of the box there. Zoho One's going to cost you $35 a month. Active Campaign for a small business will cost you $50 to $200 a month. Slack is totally free. Vimeo will run you about $50 a month, and WordPress is totally free across the board. Welcome back to the Prospecting Show, where each week we talk about tips, tricks, and methods for growing an amazing small business pipeline. I'm your host, Dr. Connor Robertson, and on this podcast, you can expect segments on communication, sales, prospecting, and closing. Thank you to everyone who has supported my 100 episodes and 100 days goal going into 2020. Enjoy the show. Episode 15 here on the Prospecting Show. Today we're going to talk about the 5 tools that we use for sales and pipeline management, prospecting, and everything in between. And so I'll rifle them off real quick here up front so that if someone wants to take notes on it, you can jot them down. We have Zoho One, which is a subscription software. We have Active Campaign. We have Slack. We have Vimeo, and we have WordPress. And that seems like a really random kind of setup that we have there in terms of the types of software. But I really think that most small businesses can basically wrap themselves into those 5 platforms for good cost-benefit ratios. And that can be something that they can use early on in their business process, and it can scale with them over time. The one thing I don't like about some of the other opportunities or some of the other softwares that are presented to companies is they are good either short-term or they're good long-term. There's not really a good mix. For example, in the CRM space, Salesforce is a great piece of software, but at the end of the day, the problem with Salesforce is it's really only going to be useful if you're a huge organization, because they have a big upfront implementation cost. They have multiple user licenses you have to purchase. It just becomes a huge issue. So at the end of the day, these are the 5 tools that are going to work if you're a small company, but also if you are a substantially bigger company. And so the first one, that we'll go over is the CRM. There's a subscription called Zoho One, which is $35 a month per user. And the $35 subscription is required for everybody in your organization. So when you go to Zoho and you say, I want the Zoho One enterprise pricing, they're going to give it to you, but it's going to be based on primarily based on the number of employees that you have in your organization. And the only reason I say that is because if you're a small company starting out, maybe not everybody needs that, but you just have to be careful, because if you start telling them that you got 7 people in your organization and you really only have like 3 people and the rest are all part-time, they're going to make you pay for 7 subscriptions. So your price is going to go up. Now, with Zoho One, instead of just having a CRM function, which is a customer relationship management function, you're also going to get 40 applications. So you're going to get the CRM plus 39 other apps. And the 5 that I use most in our business right now, and the 5 that I recommend for just about any business, is the CRM, the campaigns tool, the digital signing tool, the forms tool, and the recruit tool. And the reason that those 5 are most important is because they're scalable regardless of if you have 1 employee, it's just yourself starting up a business, or if you have 50 people. And so I'm going to break those down, and then we'll go to the next piece of software. So the CRM is going to be basically loading all of your leads into the system so you can store it. You can create different fields. You can add different details. You can put notes in there. You can have emails attached to it, documents that you've signed. You can upload it to it. It's basically a spot to keep everything organized instead of using a folder or file structure on your local computer. And if you have multiple users, you can kind of tag each other and say, hey, follow up with this person, follow up with that person. And it has a good workflow functionality where basically, you could be in a sales process with somebody and you need one of your partners to follow up with it. Well, you can tag one of your partners and it'll give them a notification and an actionable event. It'll send them an email, send them a alert or reminder right in the system so that they can know to follow up immediately. The other thing that's really cool is a pipeline management tool. They have a prospecting deals section. In that deal section, basically what it does is it shows you how much money in terms of revenue is in each deal. So that can be in pre-sales and sales, deals won, deals lost, all those different categories so that you can keep track of it and forecast long-term as a business owner. That is particularly important if you have a 1099 sales team and you want to look at it and say, how can I forecast the value of all of these 1099 reps, because you're paying out commissions over time. The next tool is campaigns. Campaigns is really simple. It's an email system. And that email system is basically broken down into a few different components. But basically what happens is you create lists, and within lists, you can have email automation. So you can send an email today, you can send it in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 9 days. You can put people through a drip sequence. I don't recommend drip sequences as a whole, but I recommend front-loaded email sequences. So like a 3 to 5 email sequence where you're basically giving value to the customer and ask them if they want to chat with you. Don't drip that over the next 26 to 50 weeks, because I think that that's going to be really kind of painful for your potential prospect. The next one is the document signing software. It's Zoho Sign. And what that is literally allows you to upload documents real time and sign them. It's like a DocuSign, except for when you get the Zoho One subscription, CRM is going to cost you $15 a month per user. Campaigns will cost you another $10 a month per user, and Sign will cost you another $10 per user. So when you buy Zoho One at $35, you're basically getting all these for free, plus the other, 36 applications that we're not going to talk about. So the Sign is basically just going to allow you to do document signing yourself or send it to a customer with tracking on it, so you can get an agreement signed. And that does include credit card agreements. If you want to have a credit card agreement where they put in their number and it's encrypted and sent back, you could do that no problem at all with the signing software. The next one is Forms. Forms is exactly what it sounds like. You can build forms. You can be internal forms. They can be forms for your virtual assistant team, or they can be forms for your customer to fill out on their side. And the reason that that's important is it could take that form and you can sync it with your CRM so that it can create a section where basically you have all of the notes from someone filling out a form. So when you do a sales call, you have those to look at ahead of time. So I think that's a really useful feature. The last one, which is more for business expansion purposes, is Zoho Recruit. Recruit has 2 different sections. I mean, it has more than 2 sections, but it has 2 major sections. You have companies that you're going to be working with, and then there's also going to be the individuals that are actually going to be joining the team. So you have a job and you attach the candidate to that job. So if you're hiring for 1099 sales in Wisconsin, well, you're going to have a 1099 sales job in Wisconsin job order, and you're going to attach the candidates or the 1099 reps to that so you can interview them and keep them separate. So that's more of a mid-sized company or an expanding kind of company to use that recruit function. But the other 4, again, CRM, campaigns, Sign, and Forms, those are definitely going to work for almost every business size. So let's switch gears here and go over to ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign shares some similar features to Zoho. The way we use it is for automations when we want text message integration, and also when we're doing trade shows. So what you can do is you can build forms with it, have custom fields, first name, last name, phone, email, maybe their job title, maybe when they graduated. It really depends on the use cases, but you can have a form. That form can start an automation, and that automation can be 3 different things. It can be it can basically be a email, it could be a text message, or it can be a notifier. And the notifier is something that internally notifies people. So for example, when we go to trade shows, we have this form, first name, last name, phone, email. The prospect fills out the form there. But then I also get a notification myself, either in the form of a text message or an email that says, hey, this person filled out the form, here's all their details. That way you can keep your team organized, and when you're filling out the form repetitively within one day, like at a trade show, you will very easily be able to tell, hey, that was a successful form submission or not. The cool thing is that ActiveCampaign has a native integration with Twilio, which is a text message provider, SMS provider. It's pretty costly overall when you kind of break down the amount of use you get out of it. But if you're somebody who's able to pound out a bunch of emails and a bunch of texts and a bunch of other items with it, you're going to find that cost is going to get driven down relatively quickly. So I think you're going to find that it is definitely cost beneficial to have that software. Now, in addition to that, there is a tool called Slack, and Slack is what we use internally for communication. It's totally free. There's no cost associated with that. And we do both our team management and our client management. So when we have our virtual team, or we have our domestic team, or anybody internal, graphics, or whoever it is that we need to communicate with, we put it all through Slack so that it notifies them when they want. They can set time parameters so they're not notified at 2 o'clock in the morning when we send out a message. And basically, it's a good way to organize a bunch of different people in different time zones and different projects. So there's a section called channels. And in that channel section, you can put different projects there so that everybody can work on it together. The next one is Vimeo. Vimeo is a video software. We pay subscription for this. There's the professional plan, which I think it's something like 5 gigabytes you can upload per week. And then there's unlimited storage overall. But any of our training videos, any of our sales videos, and any of our client videos get hosted there. so that when we actually share that, when we actually use on the website, instead of embedding a website directly with a video, we put it on Vimeo and then reference it on the website. That's one, going to help with your Google ranking and your SEO, but two, it's going to make your website run a little bit faster because the video isn't hosted right on your web server. It's hosted on a third-party server. So again, it's training videos, sales videos, and potentially promo videos. And then you can also do like use case videos. Maybe you have a virtual team and you're trying to get, I talked in another episode about virtual assistants. You might be recording a video to help them do their job better. And so you could upload that to a specific section with a password, protect it, and basically say, hey, watch these videos here. Here's the password to the video. Do this task for me and let me know when it's done. The last one's WordPress. WordPress, again, a free software. It's a website builder. You can load it on any hosting platform. That could be like a GoDaddy or a HostGator or SiteGround or Mosaic Data Services. Those are our current hosting company, Mosaic Data Services. I think you can look them up online and you should be able to find them. But basically, they're a hosting provider, and WordPress is a platform that you can use to build a website, and it also has some SEO function built in, so you can be found on Google. It has some good drag and drop builders if you don't like to code, and also has a massive theme library where if you find a theme that fits the look you're going for, you can save yourself a bunch of time so you don't have to programmatically build a website. So those are kind of an overview of the different tools that we use. That's CRM, which we use Zoho 1. That's 40 tools in one, which includes the ones we use include CRM, campaigns, sign, forms, and recruit. Then there's ActiveCampaign, which includes forms, automations, and then SMS integration with Twilio. Then there's Slack, which is for internal and external communication. Vimeo, which is for video, but we use it for training, sales, and promotional videos. And then there's WordPress, which is your website builder and your all things social. So I hope those tools help you all. Those are the 5 that I would get out of the box there. Zoho 1's going to cost you $35 a month. ActiveCampaign for a small business will cost you $50 to $200 a month. Slack is totally free. Vimeo will run you about $50 a month. And WordPress is totally free across the board. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode here. Let's kick it.